Thanks for tuning in to another video, and for today I have the Amazfit Balance 3, and if you are looking for a really long video like I usually put out, you're going to be disappointed, because today I'm just going to show you a couple of tips and tricks on this watch to show you how to customize it and make it your own. Some of them are basic and some of them are a little more advanced. So let's get right into it. You got your exercises, right? So you got indoor cycling. Well, maybe you want this one to be all the way at the top, right? So we can go ahead and adjust the order on these. All you need to do is go down here to the bottom. And it's a little confusing because on some of these menus, you push and hold it. Some of them you tap. Some of them you have to find like an edit button. So just stay with me to the end and maybe you'll find something that's interesting. But let's go down here and we're going to hit this little icon there. And now we have our exercises, right? Now, if I want to move strength training up, I just tap it. And now everything moves behind it, if you can see. So if I do this, and now strength training will be right on top. I could also delete it if I want. But I'm going to do that. And now, and also let me just show you, since I'm right here, before I showed you that the strength training moved to the top, I just want to show you that you can add an exercise here. So let's get into this. And this, we're going to scroll through here. And these are all the exercises. So let's just pick one here. Let's go to others and let's go to triathlon, right? Let me add that. And now it is right there. And now again, I could move this. It was on the bottom. So I'm going to move it like up to the top here. There we go. We're almost there. There was a lot of exercises here by default. Now it's going to be even above my strength training. Now if I click on this, and now if I get back here, and then let's go into our exercises, and there we go, triathlon, and then strength training. So that's a real nice way to move these things around, and you could also delete them, and you can only have 3 exercises there if you want, you know. Now, there's another problem here. You see how this goes out so quickly? Well, you can change the duration on all watches. You can change how long you want the screen to stay on. But on the Amazfit Balance 3, there's actually a little extra quirk to it. So let's get into our settings here. I got to move down here. There we go. So let's get into settings. And then we have to get into display. And then we're going to go to screen on duration. But this is the quirk. So we got general, workout, and then watch face. So the watch face is when you're looking at your clock, how long you want it to stay on. So if we just click on this, and I could do anything here. So 30 seconds. Or I can make it a little less. Should we make it 20 seconds? Sure. There we go. And now let's get back. And now that's 20 seconds. Now workout is when you're working out. You want how long do you want the screen to stay on? That's up to you. And then general. This is the one that is everything besides workout and watch face. And I only have it on for 5 seconds. That's why it keeps going out so darn quick. So let's change that to make this video a little more exciting, right? So there we go. And if obviously it's giving me a warning, but we're going to select here. And there we go. So now you'll probably notice that it stays on a little bit longer, hopefully. Now, let's do the apps now. So if we scroll over here, we got our apps. Some people are disappointed that the old Amazfit system is that you swipe over, you get into your widgets, but now it is apps. Now, for this one, if you can only delete a couple on here. You could do a little more on the apps. So I'll show you that in just a minute. But let me just do this. Now we're in edit mode. So now if I do this, I could move this to wherever I want, and now it's done. And now I'm still in edit mode, and I go down to the bottom here. There's only a few that I could delete, and they're all at the bottom. And I can't add any apps from the watch. I could add apps within the Zepp app on the phone, but not on the watch. So that's basically what you could do on your app list. Now, let's do quick toggles, right? We're moving pretty quick here. If I go too fast, leave it in the comments, and I could make another video where I slow down a little bit. Or on my next watch, I'll slow down just a little bit. And I'm testing a bunch of watches, so that's why it's not connected to Bluetooth. Don't worry about that. So this is our quick toggles. Now, if you want to do something here, again, this is a little different than it's been in the past. And now we actually have an edit button. So let me click on that. And you could obviously see I could delete these if I'd like. Then I could add some. Let me show you the ones that are available for adding. There's not too much. I think most of them are on there. Oh, my mistake. There's actually a fair amount, right? So let's do this. And I'm also going to show you might want to move these things around. So if you just push and hold it, and now I could bring it to wherever I want. And there it's moved. There we go. So that's kind of cool, right? And then you could set up your quick toggles any which way you want, and then you just get out of here and we're done. Okay, so what else do you want to see? How about the shortcut cards? First off, what do you think about that watch face? It's kind of cool, right? Now, if you're interested in any of these watch faces, I have them listed in the description. They will all be free in the Zepp app. But let's do the shortcut cards. We scroll up here, and this is like the widgets, and you can go through these really fast, which I like. And they only take up a little bit of an area here, so you can, like I said, roll through them pretty quick. Now, if you want to move these, all you need to do is hit Edit, And these are the ones that you could minus. I'll show you how to move them in just a minute here. So these are all the ones that are on the watch right now. And then if we keep going, these are the ones that you can add. So definitely a lot of different options, right? So instead of just minusing and adding them, I'll just go ahead and touch one, and then you could move it to wherever you want to go. So real easy. Let me just minus one to show you that it does work. So if I hit minus, now that's in the Amazfit Helio strap is right there. And I could just add it back in by hitting plus, and now it's there again. So really easy to do that. And then if you just scroll all the way down to the bottom here, hit done. And then for some reason it goes back into edit mode. I'm not really sure, but it's all done. So you just click like this. Let's get back. And now if I scroll down here, let's see, that was at the bottom, right? So as you can see here, there's the Helio strap that we had on there. So I almost forgot here. I'm doing the video here without any sort of outline or formal notes, which I have never done before. But I almost forgot my favorite feature on here is all the buttons. So we got 2 buttons over here with the rotating crown, and then we got the 2 buttons on this side. And a lot of these things can be customized. So let's do that, right? And that's kind of an important feature, I think. That allows you to get access to apps and features very quickly. So let me just go here. We're going to go into settings, and we just have to scroll down here. It's in preferences, right? Let's click on that. And let's scroll down just a little bit here, and we're going to go into shortcut buttons. And this is actually also the select button. On other Amazfit watches, it's the back button, so it is actually driving me a little crazy. But I don't know, if you get used to it, maybe you'll like it. So we got the long press on the select button that we could adjust, the press of the select button, the long press of the down button down here, and the double press of the back button down here, and then a single press of the back button. So that's a lot of stuff that you could update, right? And the options are the same for all of these. So let's do the long press here. Let me just get back up to the top. I think I'm close. There we go. So you can have none if you want. Like I said, if you just don't want to have anything toggled on by accident. But then here we go. All these things you could put for any of the button options that I just showed you. There's a lot of things you can pick through. Not bad, right? And then if you push the this button up here, let me just get back. If you hold the button, you'll get back. But if you just push this button, we turn on the flashlight. So that's why that one's locked. Let me show you a few of these things in the Zepp app, because there's a couple of things that are easy to do on the app, and then also a couple of things you can't do on the watch that you can do on the app. So hang tight. I'm back, actually. I didn't do a formal outline here, like I said. So there's one other thing that I think most people probably are interested in knowing, and that is changing the font sizes. So if we get into here, we've got to get into our settings menu, and we got to scroll down towards the bottom here. Accessibility, right? Let's click on that, and text size. And this is the options. It's actually a pretty good range, right? And then it will show you what the text is going to look like. Maybe we'll just make it a little bigger than what it was, right? And then that changes, for all the menus and everything else. The watch face is not going to change, but for everything else, it will be different. Like this is the app list, and everything else will be a little bit bigger. So kind of cool stuff there. Let me get back into the Zepp app now. So of course we have to get into the Zepp app. So let's click on that. And okay, what did I want to show you here? Let's see about the device. And let me show you some of the things here. So we got the shortcut cards, we got app list management. Let's do those right away here because they're right in front. So the app list management, like I said, there's more things that you could do on the app than on the watch for some reason. So all of these you can minus, which you couldn't do on the watch. I don't know why. It's been like that for a while with the Amazfit. So, and if we keep scrolling here, there's no extra apps that are not already put on the watch by default. But if I want to get rid of intervals, it's right there. That's gone. Podcast, it's gone. Now, if I want to add it back in, all I need to do is hit plus, or I could just take this little hamburger icon and we could just cross it over from the hidden items and it gets into the app list. And of course, if you want to move any of these things, you just hold it and you can move it to wherever you want. So again, in the phone, in the Zepp app, you could actually remove all of the apps here. You don't have to have any of them. You could just have a few that you use, whereas on the watch, you can't do that. I'm not really sure why that is, but that's the way it is. We're not going to save that, so I don't even know what I did. So let's talk about shortcut cards. This one is, I don't know, it's a little easier to do on the app, I think, but let's see. These are all the ones that are there. And of course, this is something that Amazfit has done forever. I mean, since they've had watches, I think. We got a resident applicant settings. So it's resident shortcuts, and then if we scroll down here, it's non-resident. I don't know why that is, but that's just the way it is. And if I want to get rid of these, I don't have any plus and minuses like I did on all the other menus. Again, just a unique thing here. But if I want to get rid of one, I just have to scroll it down from here and I put it into not resident, and now it's off my watch. And then if I want to move any of these guys around, I could change the order and do whatever I want. That I'll save. And now it's done. What else did we do? We did the quick toggles. And that might be easier to do on the app here, because then you get to see what actually the things are that you're changing. I'll show you in a second here. Control Center, that's where we need to go. Let's click on that. And leave it in the comments if I'm going too fast, if these things are too simple for you and you knew it all, or too advanced. Let me know, who my audience is, and I'll try to cater my future videos to you. So this is the Control Center. These are all the quick toggles that are on the watch right now, but they're actually listed very funny. I wish they had the little icon here so you could actually see them all, but you know what they are, but they're actually in a wacky order. So if you do this, let me scroll down here. And now if you use the scroll wheel, you see it starts on this one, and then if I scroll it goes over there. This is the order that it goes in, and that is the order of the list here. So flashlight is in the bottom right, then we got do not disturb, then we got sleep mode. So that's just how this thing is arranged. So at least you can find what you're looking at, and then you could move them or do whatever you want. But these are what's on there right now, and then these are the ones that you can add. So quite a bit, right? And same deal as this one is more control features, and there's no title up there. So, but this is like the shortcut cards where you just do this and you can move it over, or you could hit minus and knock it away. And then you could also just add them back up here. And then you could also just move these, to whatever you can. You can move it to whatever order you want. And I'm not going to save that, so we're just going to get out of this. I'm going to discard it. But that's how you do the quick controls. That's pretty nice. So if you just go through here, there's a bunch of other stuff that you can do. But there's one other thing that I want to show you here. Just looking at this workout, I'm going to show you something that you could do on your watch. So I'd appreciate it if you put it in the comments if these features are helpful at all. And if you put in there, if there's a feature that I missed that you're interested in, put it in there. And like I said, I'll either do another Balance 3 video, or in my future videos, I'll include that tip. I'd really love to hear what you guys are thinking. Okay, so I have one more tip for this video. I was trying to keep this one short, so I'm just doing a couple of tips that I thought might be helpful for you. If they were helpful at all, please consider subscribing. I really do appreciate that. Like the video if you don't want to subscribe, but please, I appreciate all the support that you can, and let's keep going. So I'm going to show you, when you're doing your workout, there's the data display that shows you what your information is, and you can see it at a quick glance, but you could customize all that stuff. So let me show you how to do it. Okay, so let's get into our exercises here, and let's just pick outdoor running, and I'm going to scroll up here, and there's a couple of different things you can do here, but I am going to just show you the workout settings. And this is what's available there. It's actually a lot of stuff. Let me scroll through it. So there's a lot of things that you can change and set right on the watch here. And you could do this, real quick, right, just before you go start your exercise. And let's do this, though. This is the data page. And this is what's there on the first page. Kind of looks like a smile, right? But let's keep going. And this is what's there. And then we could add a page if you want. So we do this. And it could be a chart or a data page. So you could have a chart, which are these things. Let's do, want to do speed? Let's do that. And now speed is a graph that's there, just like the heart rate. And we can go and I can add another page if I want. A data page? Sure. And I could decide how many data points I want shown on the display. So maybe I just want one because I want it to be really bold and I want to see it. Or maybe I just want a lot of stuff and I want to see kind of everything at once. What is this? 7, I think 8. Yeah, there you go. That's a lot of stuff you can put on there, right? Let's not get crazy. So let's do this one here. So the watch just by default, puts duration in there. So now you got to pick what you want. And you could do it on this one and any of the other data pages. So obviously I don't need this many durations. So I click on one and now I could pick anything I want here. So distance class, that's a bunch of stuff in distance. You want to do steps. This is all the information that you could have in steps. And then, all this stuff is in there. Let's go to heart rate. Let's do heart rate. Let's put that there. And now you can see heart rates on the top. And then I could do this for any one of them. I just click it, and then I could pick whatever I want. Other class, I don't know, whatever you want here. You want to put training load? Let's do that. And training load's right there. So that's really awesome. And it just automatically saves. I don't even have to do anything. And then, again, that's the first data page that you had. And this is what is on there. But maybe I don't need the pace, right? So I'm going to click on that. And again, maybe I want my steps here. So let me do the stride. Okay, so that's there. And then every time I open up this exercise, these are the data pages I'm going to have. If I open up indoor walking, I'm going to get a different set of data pages that I could also customize just for indoor walking. So that's really awesome that, there's maybe different information I want to see for different exercises, and I want it laid out differently maybe for different exercises. So this makes it, how quick was that? It took 2 seconds, right? Just before you start an exercise, you could actually change it right on the fly if you wanted to. So that's kind of cool. And then you have this little gear icon here. There's more stuff, right? Here we go. Let me click on this. This one's pretty easy though. We could sort the pages. I could delete a page, right? And then I could just go to default. If I just made a mess of this whole thing, I just want to start over, I could just hit restart to default. Now, if I want to do the page sorting, so this is the pages. You see them? And so the first one here, I'm moving, and you can see the other stuff moving behind it. So now this is going to be on the last one. So if I scroll here, that's on the bottom, if I could get down there. So now this one is on the bottom, and there's, the last one. So that was just moved, and you could do that for any of these things real easy. If you want to delete speed, I just go here, delete this page. You sure? Sure. Now it's gone. Now speed is gone, right? It's not in there anymore. So really cool, easy things that you can do. If this was helpful at all, like I said, let me know in the comments, and let me know what features you thought were interesting. And in the comments, also let me know what other videos you want to see about the Amazfit Balance 3. There are a lot of things that this watch can do. So check out my channel for other videos like this. And again, please subscribe, like. I really do appreciate the support. I think you could hype the video. I think that does something for me. So like I said, really appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.